Okay. So the video is recording. And then we'll start recording here. And
if you want my body and you think I'm sexy, come on, sugar, let me know. You shouldn't put me in front of a camera.
I put him in front of a camera. This is mostly a test.
Test 1 2 1 2 test.
We're actually playing with cameras. Like we got webcam stuff set up. I think our internet / my computer are too slow to stream directly. So
when you run a really long extension cord for the internet,
yeah, we're gonna run a 100-foot Ethernet cable. Actually, to keep it out of the way, we'd probably have to run like a 200-foot Ethernet cable.
We wouldn't. We go outside, come up, come through.
Oh, that's true. We could just go up. Yeah. I was thinking going up the stairs. I was trying to be as as awful as possible to make it as difficult to actually
tape it to the ceiling and fall the stairs up.
Yeah, just straight across the floor and up the middle of the stairs.
I'm just gonna go outside with it and back inside.
Yeah, I guess we do have windows, don't we?
And I already know. I can swing by work and pick up enough cable for that for like $5.
That's true. You could. That's really funny. That's actually really funny. But we don't have. And I also think my computer might be a little bit slow. The computer's 10 years old.
That's
almost.
fair.
Yeah, almost 10 years old. Not quite.
Yeah.
But we're giving it a try.
I'm trying to is it check myself? Put myself halfway between the camera and you.
Oh no, you're good.
Okay.
You can just be wherever you need to be. Again, we're just trying things out. We may or may not actually upload the video. I really just want to play with it.
That's
I guess
fair.
is the best way to put it, because by playing with it, it gives me a better idea of working knowledge of it. Yeah, that kind of fun stuff. But the ultimate goal is to eventually stream directly to Twitch, and then we can get it going. But we're working on it.
We've always been a little twitchy.
You're very twitchy.
That joke is nothing new either.
No, it's not. Not at all. The biggest change is these microphones used to face the other direction.
So now you're getting
coming
used
down.
Well, when we first started, microphones faced up.
Yeah, that's true. They did, but we had these pole arms are meant for the microphones to be facing down.
Yep.
We had to kind of finagle them to get them to go up. And
it seems easier than taping ourselves to the ceiling.
And technically, when we first started, when we got actual microphones and not like a shitty computer microphone.
Yeah.
When we each got our own microphones, we had sticks. We held them for a while. And I still have those microphones. They're still great microphones. It's going to be, it's the biggest thing is going to be not staring directly down the pipe of the camera.
Why not?
Because it's creepy.
I'm here for you.
Because you're creepy as fuck. That's why.
Your soul through the camera.
Yeah. Yeah, encoding overloaded. Consider turning down video settings or using a faster encoding preset. You know what? We're just going to let it go. CPU is currently at 60%. And we'll just see how it does. Like I said, I may or may not actually upload any of this.
I just hope our recording doesn't start to get choppy on the recording half.
Oh, you're being such an asshole. Well, the thing is it that might actually help with the stream is if I do lower the settings on the initial stream and all that stuff.
That's fair.
I wonder if I can affect the settings live while it's recording. Doesn't look like it. Oh no, I might be able to.
Ooh.
Video. Nope, cannot do that. Okay, cool. Have to stop recording in order to do it. Well, you know what? We'll just see how it goes. Stop rubbing the microphone.
While staring at the camera?
Yeah.
Do you want to see just how awkward I can make this?
No, I know exactly how awkward you could make this. Boy, leave your shirt on. Shirt stays on. Thank you. Oh, man. We're recording super early this week, too.
Yeah.
We're both gone.
Yeah, we're both going to visit family, actually.
To visit family, so that's just the way things play out sometimes.
I'm actually getting on the road after we record this tonight.
Yeah. Thankfully, it's beautiful out, too.
Yep.
So for you, jumping on the road and over the mountains is
most
easy.
of college, I wasn't, especially with college, I always enjoyed actually commuting back to college or home at night.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you get on that Eastern Washington where it's just flat
Yeah.
and empty at night. It's gorgeous.
I always hated in college commuting, doing late night commutes.
Really, I loved them.
My big thing is that if I did a late night commute,
Yeah.
I was usually up at 6 a.m. that morning doing something, 5 or 6 in the morning.
Okay.
And so by the time I got to 10 o'clock at night doing that commute,
Yeah.
which is from, and I know for you going from college to your parents' house is a significantly.
Wait, it's 3
Short.
hours with no passes.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it was 5 hours with a pass.
I drive like maybe 40 minutes to get to the freeway,
Yeah.
and then it's just straight freeway.
Yeah.
Like not even curvy freeway. Straight.
Yeah. And mine was 5 hours with the mountain pass. And
Yeah.
there was the worst one that ever happened was my sophomore year. Because I was poor and had to learn how to replace stuff myself, I replaced the battery in my car.
Yeah.
And in doing so, I accidentally blew one of the fuses,
Uh-oh.
and I didn't have the money to replace it.
What'd you blow?
I blew the
Can I
stereo
guess? Oh, that's what I was going to guess.
Yeah, I didn't blow the headlight fuse. Thankfully, that would have been real awkward trying to drive home.
At night?
Yeah, at night. I just would have basically had to be like, all right, well, looks like I'm overdrafting.
I mean, there were times I would just kill the radio and just drive.
I see. The thing is, 5 hours.
True.
Especially
when you get that's the thing is the worst part of when you going home, the worst part of it was the end part.
the end part, like
The last chunk was probably the worst.
for me,
Yeah.
no. I hated the wide open.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's boring. Like, I don't know if you drive a different highway to go to your parents' house. Then
Not really.
Do you take 90?
Yeah, I get off at George.
Okay, well, so
right
you
around Vantage.
They're right around Vantage. Yeah,
I would just all I drove was the straight part.
that's true. Yeah, no, it's like you might like it. I found it unbearably boring.
I found it like calming and relaxing.
The only interesting thing about that drive was the signs saying like what was in that crop.
Like corn,
Yeah,
soybean,
yeah.
corn,
Hay.
hay,
Yeah,
weeds.
yeah, exactly. But I am gonna have you move back a little bit. There you go. That's a little bit better. Mostly because you were leaning into the camera. You went from not leaning into the camera to leaning directly into the camera.
I like the camera. I can't help it.
Yeah.
I am drawn to the camera.
Yeah, we're gonna have to give each other. We're gonna have to like make marks in the room so that we know like where we're allowed.
I think if I talk to Frida, I'm actually doing all right.
Actually, yeah,
Because I'm kind of like I'm not looking at the camera, but I also look. It looks like I might be looking at you,
yeah.
but I'm not looking like away from the camera at the same time.
Yeah, that's kind of where you were at before.
Okay, I was looking away from it.
You were looking like at me
because I was leaning into you.
You're leaning and you're leaning into it.
Leaning towards the camera, but looking away from it.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I that drive for me, like the big thing for me too is that I need music. I need music.
That's fair.
And that's what killed that part of that drive for me.
I can see that.
It was so open and boring and empty, and I couldn't take it.
Oh, yeah.
I could not take it.
Sometimes if I was going to Spokane, I would drive Highway 2.
Yeah.
Which there's a chunk of Highway 2 where you have 2 radio station options.
Was it Christian or Spanish?
You have Christian or Christian in Spanish.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Sounds about right. And
And always Christian talk.
Yeah. Always Christian talk.
Not even like sermon, just chatter.
Yes. Like 700 Club type shit.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
I found out all the reasons why I'm going to hell.
Yeah, exactly.
And why none of them actually apply to the minister who's also doing them.
Yes, exactly. What are you doing?
There we go. Rotating slightly.
Oh, okay.
We're still adjusting mics here.
Still adjusting. We're back to square one.
No, we aren't. We might still have those computer mics around.
That's true. We might.
We don't have your Chromebook anymore, though.
No, we don't have the Chromebook anymore. I have a new laptop arriving soon.
You do?
But no, the big part of that drive that killed me though was the that one particular one when I blew the speaker out.
Yeah. Did you just start singing to yourself?
No, I used my laptop for the first 2.5 hours, and my laptop lasted for 2.5 hours to play music. Like, basically, it was kind of open next to me, just playing music.
Because it's probably point you don't only have like a Discman anymore, did you?
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. And I didn't have an iPod or anything like that.
There was this weird period where we didn't really there wasn't a lot of people didn't have like portable music stuff.
Well, the thing is that I had my car. I had installed a thing in it a deck in it that I could plug a USB drive into.
Yeah.
And
I had one about the same time period.
Yeah. And I would just dump a bunch of music onto that.
Did yours play MP3s?
Mine did play MP3s.
What, did you sort them by folders?
No.
Yeah.
Whenever I did it, I would just dump it on. Whatever I felt. It was basically a playlist.
Mine was basically separated by folders, which made separate playlists or albums.
No, I just dumped a giant playlist on. And I had CDs too. But yeah, I was just listening to whatever music I had saved to my laptop.
Yeah.
And it made it to about Vantage, about halfway there, before the laptop died. And I was still a smoker at the time too.
Yep.
And I was exhausted. I think I probably had like 3.5, 4 hours of sleep. I just finished finals, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just trying to get back to my parents' house. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to get back to my parents' fucking house. Like, that's all I wanted. And I probably went through a pack and a half of cigarettes just trying to
get there.
Like, and and honestly, it was a little bit of it was keeping me awake.
Yeah.
And without music and just the cold silence.
Yeah.
It was way more difficult.
The cold silence. What do we say to the cold silence?
It happens.
Maybe tomorrow.
It happens regularly. That's what we say to it.
What do we say to the cold silence? Oh, it's you again.
Oh, hello. I haven't seen you in a week.
I thought we were scheduled for later this week.
You usually come along with my depression. Why are you here now? Oh, because I short-circuited a cable in my car?
Yeah.
That's why.
Well, what I appreciate is the cold silence is bullshit. It could be your, not mental state, but...
Emotional state?
Emotional, existential state.
Yes.
But also the physical condition of your car.
Yeah, which it was.
Yeah.
It was also the winter, too.
The cold silence, it wrapped him.
Yeah. It was also the winter, so it made sense. What was I going to say?
The Cold Silence is my John Cage cover band.
That's a music nerd joke.
That is.
That is a good music nerd joke. Speaking of cold silence, I know you're like not a Game of Thrones watcher, but you keep up with everything.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about Love Lives.
No. Maybe some other time.
The cold silence. Yes, I keep up with things.
You keep up with things even though you don't watch Game of Thrones actively. And I know you saw clips from this last week's Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Which was, what was it called? It was The Long Night. The Long Night. Yeah, I think is what it was called.
It was basically the battle for Winterfell.
You fucked me up. Westeros is the continent. Winterfell is the region.
Westerfield is probably a bakery.
Well, Westfield is who owns South Center Mall.
Right, yeah.
And a number of malls throughout the continental United States.
The battle for South Center Mall.
The battle for Westfield Mall. Got that on camera. Basically, it was the battle for Winterfell. And, a lot of people are being shitty about like, oh, the tactics were out. It's like, okay, whatever. We can pick that apart later. I don't want to deal
The tactics?
with it. Yeah, they were being shitty about their tactical defense of Winterfell.
Yeah.
Which, from a story standpoint, I could probably say, like, they didn't have a tactic. There was no tactic for that.
Survive.
Yeah, the tactic was survive as long as you possibly can. Which didn't work super well for most of them.
So there was one character being criticized for yelling at a dragon.
For yelling at a dragon?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like one of. I mean, I don't know how spoiler we're going, but it's
I don't care.
It's one of the. Well, okay. If we're going, are we going spoilery?
Anybody who's going to watch Game of Thrones
Has watched
it. Yeah.
So Jon Snow getting crap for basically his strategy was to yell at the dragon. Mm-hmm. People noticed what he was yelling. Go.
Yeah.
He spotted Arya and he was distracting a dragon.
Yeah.
Yep. Which Arya and the.
Are you talking about when he was hiding from the dragon?
Yes.
Yeah. He was drawing its attention.
Yep.
Yeah.
But also telling her to go.
Yeah.
Go.
I mean, well, that's kind of the thing is that was the big thing across the internet this week was a lot of people being shitty about like, what do you mean Arya killed the Night King? First of all, apparently they've known on the show for 3 years that Arya was going to kill the Night King. No one in the cast knew,
but the
showrunners knew. And
that's
like,
cool.
it's been in the cards for literally the past 3 seasons.
It was the weekend of chicks taking down the big bad.
Yeah, basically, kind of, yeah. Or well, no, it was still Iron Man. Anyway.
I know, but who actually,
Yeah.
who actually held their own against him?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, no, it was a very strong. It was a very strong weekend for women doing cool things in nerd culture.
Arya now has my new favorite mic drop gif,
which is
just the I saw the dagger drop overlaid with mic drop.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of been funny to watch people on the internet go back and realize like, oh God, they actually have been setting this up for years.
Wait, are we talking Game of Thrones or Endgame?
Game of Thrones.
Okay.
In Game of Thrones.
Both have been setting up for years.
There's one of the first episodes from last season.
Yeah.
Where Brienne and Brianna Tarth and Arya are sparring. Mm-hmm. Like there's a point in it where she does a knife flip where she switches hands with the knife and is able to, at least with Brienne, she doesn't best Brienne, but they come to a
I mean, we're on season
stalemate.
Yeah, we're on season 8.
Yeah.
People have been noticing stuff from season 3 on this. Yeah,
well, they kind of were setting up a bunch of things in season 3, and a lot of them were red herrings.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go all the way back to the first episode, somebody was like, "Oh my God, it's in the first episode," and it's like you stab them with the pointy end. It's like, well,
I mean, that happens more than once.
Yeah. Also, Arya tells Sansa that in the episode where she's like, "I don't know what happens if they get in."
I mean,
she hands her a dragonglass dagger and tells her to stab him with the pointy end.
That could also be cited back to Cersei and the Scorpion.
Yeah.
Yeah, stab him with the pointy end.
Stab him with the pointy. Anybody, any character, stab him with the pointy end. But that's what John. That's what John says.
Pretty much most every death in this show.
Yeah, that's what John says too.
I think the Mountain's the only notable person to get an exception to that.
When the Mountain kills the Viper.
Yeah.
But John says it to Arya. But like going back in the last couple seasons, she went to the Temple of the Faceless Man and learned how to become a faceless man. Mm-hmm. And basically that was the other thing, is that when Arya the week before Arya hooked up with Gendry, everyone was like, "Oh my God, how could she do that? Like, how can they do that?" And it's like, you realize this is...
Well, when a man and woman are attracted to each other...
Don't have to be.
No, they usually need to be attracted. I went with attracted, not in love.
Still don't have to be.
True.
There is such a thing as alcohol.
That just increases levels of attraction.
Sure. But...
It makes you think you're attracted.
Yeah, and still saying... Don't have to be.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm still saying it. But if you go back to this season, or was it? Yeah, that episode, people were freaking out about Arya and Gendry hooking up. Number one, she was one of the first female characters to take agency of her own sexuality.
Take initiative?
Yeah. No, not initiative. Agency.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Well, it's fitting for that character, too.
Yes, yeah. And that was kind of the thing of over the last couple seasons, she'd been learning about Death.
Boys? Oh.
No, not boys. She's been learning about death.
Same thing.
She's been learning about death and basically how to administer death and becoming an instrument of death and becoming, the little rogue assassin that she is.
Yep.
And she'd been going through all that, and then there's that great scene of her sitting on the parapets up there, and she talks with the Hound, and then Beric Dondarrion comes up.
Yep.
And she at one point was going to kill both of them. Yeah. And now she was indifferent to Beric, but actually clearly cares about the Hound.
Yep.
At this point, they were both on her list at one point.
Yeah, well,
now neither of them were.
Good for them.
Yeah. I think it's less about them. They still did bad things.
Yeah.
I think it was more Arya's growth as a person.
That makes sense.
But learning to get past certain things in order to concentrate on a grander scale, I guess, if that makes sense. But she chooses not to sit up on top of the wall and prepare for death with those old fuckers, and instead decides to go get laid.
So what we're saying is
she chose life. She took advice from Train Spotting, and she chose life.
No, she basically just reversed the roles and stabbed him with the pointy end.
For years doing this show, you've always said things, and like people haven't really gotten to see a good look at like my face when I
make these.
Yeah, now they will. Assuming I put this video up, which I might. We'll see. But the way that she chose life, essentially is what it was. She chose life and instead of death. And a big part, but through all that, she'd been set up to be an assassin. She'd been learning how to master death and how to battle death and how to go through all of that. And she's like, basically, at this point, she's a high-level rogue.
Yeah.
Like, people were discussing...
I wonder if she was allowed to use her dexterity roll instead of her constitution on that one.
On what?
Getting laid.
On getting laid? That is intimidation. That's an intimidation roll right there. Which is still charisma-based. So,
it is.
She just happened to roll higher than Gendry's DC on it. Admittedly, his DC was probably pretty low. It's probably like a 10, but
there are far worse intimidation fails.
Yeah, that's true. But Arya's probably, she's not level 20, but she's a high level rogue. Like, she's got that uncanny. You get uncanny dodge at I think level 3, but like. She's super high dex, moderate constitution,
high sneak.
Well, that's dex.
Oh yeah. Okay,
yeah. She's got a proficiency in stealth.
There we go.
That's what it is, and she, I guess, would have cross-classed into. I guess it'd probably be warlock, because she has a patron.
Yeah.
The many-faced god is technically a patron.
Yeah.
And she probably would have got disguise self as a cantrip.
That makes sense.
I'm
for D&D's, the two most logical ones for building that character like that probably would have been disguise self and darkness. If we're picking two cantrips.
Yeah.
Like most useful.
Well, darkness wouldn't be a cantrip. It would be an at will first level spell.
Yeah.
Which is essentially a cantrip, but Yeah. And I would say for her, maybe darkness, but definitely she got an at will disguise self.
Yeah. I was just thinking more like darkness is useful sneak ability.
No, it's true, but if you roll if your stealth modifier is plus 15, you don't really need to cast darkness. Also, remembering that if you cast darkness, you can't see in it.
True.
It's just sheer black.
Yeah.
Like it's utter darkness. Nobody can see in it, even the person who cast it.
Right.
It might come back to bite you in the ass. It has before on campaigns that I've played, so you know. But no, I would say she's probably 15, 16 level.
Okay.
Not level 20 yet, but
Yep.
high enough that her athletics check. See, the athletics check was probably. She probably would have had to beat like a 21 in order to. She stealthed. She was able to stealth. But she probably would have had to beat like a 21 on her athletics to get past the Night King, and she probably rolled like a 19 or something like that.
I mean, that's the question is she kind of failed her stealth, but then she had an offhand attack.
Or you know what it was?
Huh.
She failed her attack roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then she had an offhand attack.
Rogues get 2 attacks.
True.
Higher level 3.
So she stealth, failed her attack.
She rolled well on stealth. Not, I wouldn't say nat 20, but well.
Well, she passed stealth
and used disguise self, which helps.
Yeah.
And then she probably rolled just under what she needed to roll for an attack roll,
and then rolled well on her,
and then got a nat 20 on the second one.
Yep.
Like, if we're gonna break this down into D&D terms,
yeah.
Like, it's pretty easy to do with that game.
Yeah.
Like, it would probably be pretty easy to transfer Game of Thrones to a standard RPG.
For the most part.
I'm actually willing to bet
there might be some weird classes in there.
I'm willing to bet that there is a Game of Thrones core rule book.
Yeah.
I just haven't looked for it.
I mean, what's Dragon Master? Is that just a weird subset of Druid?
I don't know. What? No, I think it would have to be a racial trait.
Is it a racial trait?
Yeah. It would have to be a racial trait. Like, because the Targaryens have dragon blood.
Yeah.
So technically they're a weird
Draconian?
They're a weird dragonborn.
Yeah.
Because Dany's not. God, what would her class be? I know her background is exiled, is like an exiled noble.
Yeah, exiled noble, a little bit of dragonborn, obviously.
Yeah. But that's a racial trait. She's like
bard.
You know what? Dany, she might be a druid. It's just that her connection is with dragon. It's not with like nature. It's with
because it's like she doesn't. I wouldn't say like necessarily,
but she's super low level
because she's not really a spellcaster other than having a couple dragons around.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's not a bard because like Tyrion's a bard.
Yeah, I was just thinking her like she has the words. She does inspire people.
Yeah, but you can inspire people without being a bard.
True.
She might be a paladin, a non-magic paladin.
Cross class.
Cross class, bard and
paladin and druid.
Paladin druid, maybe, and super low levels in each.
Yeah,
like level 2 on each kind of thing.
I mean, maybe a little higher than that by now, but
no. Dany has not done enough to level up.
Yeah.
Arya has grinded through everything. Jon is probably on the same level as Arya. It's just that he rolled a basic fighter and hasn't really done anything else.
Yeah.
And then there's like, because like Melisandre is very clearly a cleric.
Yep.
And so was Thorin of Myr. But
what about Cersei?
Cersei is.
It's not really like a statesman class.
No. Again, she'd be a noble background, but
yeah.
Cersei's a rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one of those kind of muddled around, not necessarily focused on a single.
She's a highborn rogue, is what she is.
A highborn rogue with a high intimidation level.
Yeah, with a super high charisma.
Yeah. Geared mostly towards intimidation.
Yeah. That's the only thing I can think of for her, because she does everything that's sneaky. She doesn't do. She's not outright.
Yep.
Like very clearly, like the Hound is a barbarian, and so is the Mountain. Yeah.
Yeah.
John's a fighter.
Yep.
Bran is a warlock.
Yeah.
Or a wizard. Could go either way. No, he's a warlock. He has a. He's basically.
It's the patron thing.
Yeah, it's the patron thing. Well, and I guess like that's the. You could make that argument about Melisandre too, the Red Woman.
I mean, is that cleric?
The reason I would say warlock for her is because she's squishier.
Yeah.
But whereas Thoros of Myr was very clearly a cleric because he could go out into the battle and actually fight.
That makes sense.
Whereas, and so clerics tend to actually
pick up a sword.
Pick up a sword.
Yep.
Warlocks can, but they tend to stand towards the back and just kind of fire.
That makes sense.
Fire Eldritch Blast every now and then.
Sansa?
Sansa's a fighter class, low level.
Like, 1 or 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But has really become a politician.
Yeah. And I mean, how do you work that into a D&D campaign? The politician.
I mean, that might be a class.
Yeah.
Is having it be a politician.
The
Statesman type thing.
Yeah.
And you create your own version of that class. Yeah. Like if you were to go off stuff like the classes that have been created for, like the one that Matt Mercer created for the latest campaign of Critical Role, he created one called a Blood Hunter, which are essentially they use blood magic.
Yeah.
Which Beric Dondarrion would have been that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He would have been a blood hunter because he literally used some of his own blood to light his sword on fire before every battle.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, Tyrion's absolutely a bard.
Yeah.
He drinks and he knows things and fucks everything.
Yeah. At this point, he's a high level bard.
Yeah.
Just doesn't have the magic part. He's all inspiration, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Most of the characters are fighters, rogues, or fighter. Yeah.
There's a few different magic wielders, but they're all kind of more warlock than wizard.
Most of them are dead, honestly.
Yeah, now.
Yeah, after last week. Yeah, most of them are dead.
Yeah.
Well, like Thoros of Myr died beyond the wall. Like,
I mean, I think a lot of that sort of stuff you end up with, rogues and fighters tend to be your most common.
Yeah, they tend to be pretty straightforward in the way that they handle things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You have the occasional druid and...
Yeah, I mean, it would be pretty easy to break things down into different levels. The where it could get interesting is where you break it down into like John's a fighter, John is a fighter, Jaime is a fighter, and Brienne are a fighter, but they all have different. Their martial archetype is what it's called.
Yeah.
All of their martial archetypes are different. Like
that makes sense.
Was it Jaime's is probably the champion. John's is a commander. Not sure what Brienne's would be. Probably be something along the lines of probably a cavalier type thing.
Makes sense.
Maybe. I don't know. I'd have to look closer at it, but Jaime's definitely the champion. John is definitely the commander. Well, no. John was a commander and became a champion, and Jaime was a champion who became a commander.
Yeah. Damn it, I'm forgetting his name. Ginger Power.
Oh, Tormund?
I feel like barbarian.
Tormund Giantsbane is 100% a barbarian.
With some giant's blood in there?
With some... No, giant's milk.
Oh, that was it.
Giant's milk. Suckled from the teat of a giant woman.
I mean, that is a hell of a backstory.
Have you seen... I love the pictures of Tormund without his beard. Have you seen them?
I have not.
He's so, like, adorable.
I've seen some great modified got milk ass this week, last couple weeks. He's giving him milk mustaches on the beard.
What's really funny is the last couple weeks have been really a very good exercise in classic classic D&D level like stuff, because while this week's episode was a giant battle, it was a giant battle. There were some.
I had some questions going into this one.
There were some ones rolled. There were some 20s rolled, but most of it was just a giant knockdown battle.
They seem like they picked the worst place to hide from a necromancer.
What? Oh yeah, in the crypt.
Yeah,
that came back to be a problem.
Like, did no one see that going into that?
Nope. Didn't think that one through.
We're gonna hide from the army of dead amongst the dead.
Yeah, well, they didn't bet on him actually raising the dead.
Hasn't he been doing that?
The only person I guess who's still alive that's seen it is John, and he's very dumb.
Is this why are the pretty ones always so stupid?
Yeah, kind of.
In the words of his aunt.
Yeah. But they, what was it? Like a couple side characters died, a couple NPC type characters died this week in the battle.
Damn it,
Dolores Ed died, which was a bummer. He was the last of the original crew of the Night's Watch that were not John or Samwell.
Yep. What's Samwell?
Sam? Oh, Sam is a cross-class bard fighter.
Okay. Yeah.
That
makes sense.
Mostly because he's learned.
Yeah.
He's studied. But he started out as a fighter and got to like level 2 and then cross-classed to bard and has put all of it into that since then.
Yeah.
Although he held his own in the battle.
True.
Like
those 2 levels came out.
Yeah, they really did. He was just rolling well. But no, this week was very much the big battle where it's like you go into a D&D session and you're like, okay, well, I hope I'm rolling well today because everyone could die, and you have the 4.5 hour session where it's just a giant battle and you're trying to come up with the right thing to do. And
another long-term fighter died.
Yeah. But
what's his name?
Well, Barrick died. Barrick Dondarrion. Dolores Ed. Lyanna Mormont. Jorah Mormont.
No. Cersei, not Cersei.
Dany.
Dany's friend zone.
Yeah, Ser Jorah Mormont.
Okay, he wasn't Mormont.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was the exiled Mormont, which is why Lyanna, the 10-year-old, was in charge.
Yeah.
Jorah's father had joined the Night's Watch because of the shit that his son pulled.
Okay.
Like, their family was disgraced.
That was it.
So his dad joined the Night's Watch. He's the one who gave Longclaw to Jon Snow, the Valyrian steel blade. And then Ser Jorah was the one who went to go be an assassin and kill Dany and fell in love with her.
Did the opposite?
Yeah, did the exact opposite.
Worst assassin ever.
I know, he's so bad at it. Well, he was supposed to feed information to the crown.
Yeah.
And then kill her, and then didn't.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why he's been on the outs and trying to prove himself, kind of thing.
That makes sense.
And he did this week. And then Lyanna Mormont went out. She's a barbarian, like a level 2 barbarian in a level 12 fight, or a level 15 fight.
Yeah.
She's 100% a barbarian.
Barbarian, not the statesman class we've made up?
No.
We've invented? Okay.
No, 100% a barbarian.
Yeah.
With really high charisma.
That makes sense. It's not a combo you often see, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
The charismatic barbarian.
She's an intelligent, charismatic barbarian. She has super low constitution. She rolled like a 7 in constitution.
She built the exact opposite of her class.
Yeah. Super squishy barbarian.
She's a barbarian who wanted to be a bard.
Yeah. No, she's a
bardbarian?
Yeah, she's a bardbarian. But yeah, no, she died taking out the giant, which is cool.
Yep. But she was too squishy.
She's too squishy. Literally. Yeah, got squished. But so we've gone on this massive tangent. What I really wanted to talk about is how people were bitching about how dark it was. and how they couldn't see anything.
We're just putting the game back in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. People were just bitching. What I wanted to talk about is how people were bitching about like how dark it was and how they couldn't see. I could see it fucking fine.
The clips I watched online all look fine.
Yeah. Well, and the thing across the internet that people aren't taking into account, and they don't want to admit because then it seems like it's their fault and not the service providers. Well, and it's a little bit of both.
So you watched it on HBO and got fine.
I watched it on HBO Go.
A friend of ours watched it on Hulu and had it really dark.
Yes. And color corrected incorrectly and was artifacting and banding.
Our roommate watched it on HBO and thought it was really dark.
Yes.
But I 120% blame that on their TV.
I will blame it on their TV, and I will, because that TV is not very good, and it's also not calibrated.
Not at all.
And also, I will also blame it on the fact that both of them have bad eyesight.
True.
Like her and her boyfriend, they both have bad eyesight.
They have children, they'll just be little moles.
Yeah. They have really bad eyesight, and their TV is too small, and the TV is too small for the room that it's in to be able to sit on the couch and comfortably watch it.
To be fair, like, so the room was like 15 feet long.
Yeah.
TV and couch are on opposite sides.
Yes.
They were sitting about 4 feet from the TV watching it.
Yeah, because they're fucking blind.
Yeah.
They are. They're blind.
Yep.
And you said, like, you're like, I don't really have trouble watching stuff in there. And it's like, well, usually sit at the chair.
Or if I do sit on the couch, I also have far better eyesight.
Yeah. I don't wear glasses. And knowing both of them, they took out their contacts or weren't wearing glasses.
Yeah. I know I have above average vision.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
So yeah. Whereas my television, which is 10 years old, I did the math this last week.
Yeah.
It's 10 years old. I literally bought it when I was 21. I'm 31 now.
Yep.
It is. I calibrated it once. No, maybe twice now. Calibrated it once when I got it, and I calibrated it again when I got a PS4.
Yeah.
And the PS4 is no longer hooked up to it. It is now hooked up to a different television,
that's much newer.
Which is much newer, and I calibrated that television to the PS4. But I've calibrated it twice now.
Yeah.
But I haven't really needed to change it because whatever. And admittedly, it's probably a little small for the distance that I am away from it when I'm watching it. A little bit.
Yeah.
Not by much. But like I can't watch stuff with subtitles in that room.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
I can see my TV. I can watch subtitles on.
Well, no, it's not. No, I guess the better way to put it is I can't watch something where they have like a note on screen and be able to see what the note says.
Okay.
Like it'll be like what would be like a 3x5 card in real life kind of thing.
Yep.
Is about a 3-inch square on that TV.
It's a little far, but not too far.
It's a little far. But I can read subtitles on it. But I could see the show fine. I could see everything on the screen perfectly fine. And a part of that is people don't want to admit that they took their TV out of the box and didn't calibrate it. Because, surprise, you have to calibrate your television when you take it out of the box.
I mean, I got my TV last fall and I cranked up the brightness.
Yeah, but your TV you also bought secondhand and is kind of garbage. And you turned up the brightness so it would stop darkening around the outside edges when you played video games on it.
Yeah.
Because it's a garbage TV that you paid almost nothing for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I need a larger TV for the space.
Yes.
Most of the stuff I watch on it isn't that heavily affected by that detail either.
No, you mostly watch cartoons.
Cartoons, Doom Patrol, a lot of cartoons and a lot of sci-fi.
Yeah. Things that are bright and shiny for the most part.
Yeah.
Even Doom Patrol is like not
as dark as Game of Thrones.
No.
Both writing and cinematography.
Yeah. But that was the thing. People were like, why is it so dark? Well, maybe because it's night. Well, couldn't they have lit the night better? And it's like, well, first of all, fuck you.
I mean, you do see that in shows where there's better moonlight.
That's one of those things that has driven... So there's good times where they've lit it and it's been night. Supernatural's gotten really good at it over the years. This was specifically made to be darker because it wanted to show that encroaching darkness of the army of the dead coming to
Makes sense.
attack. It's as much of a character as the army.
Yeah.
Like, and honestly, if I watch, it's on the level of the darkness as something like The Descent.
Yeah.
Which, The Descent is a movie that you should watch in the dark and like have your TV properly calibrated, because sometimes you'll see things, sometimes you won't.
Yeah.
But no, the big part of that is that it was lit to feel darker.
The darkness is supposed to be oppressive.
Yes.
Just sit there and go.
I also go back to fucking what was it? War Horse, the Steven Spielberg movie. Which, by the way, you said before, I hear the stage show is great.
Yeah.
The movie is fucking awful. It is terrible.
Yeah.
It is almost unbearable to watch. And
Never actually watched the movie.
There's a part in it where it's supposed to be like the darkness of war. Mm-hmm. It is perfectly evenly lit across the entire thing.
Yeah.
It looks like a fucking soundstage.
Yeah.
It looks like, oh, we can't see that in the back. We need to light that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, who gives a shit about that? You just destroyed the entirety of your scenery.
Yep.
Because I can see everything.
You lose the oppression.
You lose the fact that it's supposed to be dark and scary.
There's nothing dark sitting there just going, do.
No, yeah, it's not. It's not. Yeah, it's just. I hate it when something is dark, and the darkness never shows up, kind of thing.
They might have a different show booked.
Yeah. Yeah, darkness didn't show up to set that day.
I'm just picturing there's on the parapets of Winterfell and Night Watch, or the
Night's Watch,
or the Night King, or the Night King is approaching.
Yeah,
and you just hear in the backness, I believe, I think God love.
Oh man. Oh no, I just moved in my headphone thing. There it is. Okay, cool.
When you book the wrong darkness.
I believe in a thing called love. Just listen to the rhythm of my heart. I'm not gonna hit that high note. But oh god, I want that album on vinyl. Like, I've been searching for it for so long, and I don't want to break down and buy it on the internet. I want to find it in a store.
You did just find a 7-inch this last week.
I did. I found the Vendetta Red original single for Shatterday. Found it at the flea market down the hill,
which is amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Zach hasn't seen one in like 10 years
because it's at a flea market.
Yeah.
I also pretty sure we got $1 off because we only had $4 cash.
Yeah, we only had $4 cash,
and he wanted $5. Yeah, but he compromised.
It's a flea market.
Oh yeah,
it's like we have $4 on us. A sale's a sale, man. But and if we've learned anything from watching Lara Spencer, you can haggle.
Yeah.
We watch flea market flip a lot.
If you know how to.
Yeah.
So I had someone offer $5 on a $20 item because it was slightly chipped.
Oh no.
They said, oh, it's 20. It's kind of damage. What you do? I said 18. They said 5. Our negotiations were done at that point.
They said 5, and you went, okay, cool, 20.
22.
Yeah. You have rolled a 1 on your persuasion check. But the other problem with the episode was basically what our friend it was actually our friend Andy Doporowski over at Two Bards. Mm-hmm. We had a long conversation about it on Monday.
Yeah.
When he was like, it was so bad. I couldn't see anything. At one point, Sansa's hair was purple. It was artifacting. It was...
She was going through a rebel period, okay?
Yeah. A couple of years ago, they made her brunette, but that didn't...
Stick?
That didn't stick.
Washed
well,
out?
It was because they were hiding who she was.
Yeah. Did they just like rub some tree bark in her hair?
Not quite. But she went back to being a redhead.
Yeah.
And But he was talking about how like there was artifacting, there was hard banding across the screen. And I was like, I didn't experience a single second of that. And I could see everything that was on screen. Everything looked perfectly color corrected. It was lit well. Like it was real. Like I had no problem with it.
To be fair, banding in the darkness brings me back to my earlier joke.
Yes. The band, The Darkness.
Yeah.
But upon talking to him, I was like, okay, well, what did you watch it on? Because I watched it on HBO Go. And Scott chimed in. He watched it on HBO Go and had no problem. Could see it completely fine.
And he watched it on?
Andy watched it on Hulu.
Yeah.
HBO streaming through Hulu because HBO, Amazon, all these Crackle in Canada. Joanna Gaskell chimed in that she had problems watching.
Yeah. And
she watched it on Crackle, and apparently they had problems there. Crackle apparently down samples to 720p, so even if you're on a 4K screen, you're watching it on 720p.
Oof.
Yeah. And Hulu, I guess, has a tendency to downsample to 480.
Ouch.
Which, I mean, 480p fucking 10 years ago was great.
Yeah.
At least for streaming.
Yep.
But now that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a good internet connection.
Yeah.
And basically, we figured out
that it was
we put together the
HBO relaying through Hulu.
Yeah, it's Hulu because HBO doesn't send them a digital file.
They send them a compression stream.
They send them a compressed stream, and that compressed stream is what I'm watching.
Yes,
it was what I'm watching. So I'm getting it compressed. It'll look even better on the Blu-ray than it did on my TV.
But then Hulu is getting compressed.
And yeah,
with different compression algorithms probably.
Yeah, and so what Hulu's doing is they're getting the same stream I'm getting, and then they're feeding that stream through their own compression system and through their own algorithm, which compresses it further. And if you've ever had to do the thing where it's like, okay, well, we have to change the file type of this video, and it goes through a second compression, and it just automatically just loses a fuck ton of
what I'm picturing is basically feeding a loaf of sliced bread through a bread slicer.
I mean, not entirely. My right ear just went out of my headphone. Because
one of those things like first time's going to slice it. You run through a different one. It's going to have slightly different spacing and just slice it weirdly and oddly.
Yeah. I'm sorry. This is really fucking with me. I'm trying to fix it.
I'm only in one ear now.
You're only one ear now?
No. I'm only in one of your ears.
Oh, yeah. No, it's
my left or my right? Which side's the evil side?
Okay, cool. I got it. I got it.
I'm back in his head.
Yeah. Again, this is what happens when you have to go through
compression.
It's not compression. It's adapters.
Adapters.
Yeah.
Adapters are not your friend.
But it was compressing a compressed stream.
Yeah.
And by further doing that, you artifact, you lose more, you get more hard banding, you get more color problems. Stop staring in the camera. Fucking creeper. So that's honestly why a lot of people who watched it were very much of the I couldn't see anything. Also, just point of fact.
It's like reheated queso.
Ooh.
Well?
Yeah. Also, just a quick point of fact. People going, it's too dark. Well, did you try turning up the brightness on your television? No.
Well, why not?
Well, why the fuck not? There's a reason that...
Well, also you gotta also thinking beyond that, there's the whole, there's game, movie, screen, like all those real quick settings.
Yeah.
Through.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, turn off motion smoothing.
Yeah.
It further fucks up your picture. Like, for real, turn it off.
If you look at, I think a lot of TVs that look at, the sports setting, makes things a little bit darker and a little bit more vibrant.
Yeah, it's a higher contrast setting.
Yeah, which might be a problem for your nighttime TV show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, might be.
Football game might look great.
Yeah, football game would definitely...
But that's also usually evenly lit.
Yes. But legitimately, when Chris McQuarrie and Tom Cruise put out that PSA saying, turn off motion smoothing on your TV.
Yep.
They were fucking right. Turn off motion smoothing on your TV. If you have a TV that was made within the last 10 years, go into the settings, see if you have motion smoothing. If it's on, turn it off. Trust me, it will make... If you ever watched something and it looked like it was like a soap opera, and you're like, this is why I don't want to watch things in HD, because now it looks like everything looks like a soap opera. Mm-hmm. It's because motion smoothing is turned on.
It's just like Tom and Jerry at 600
at the 60 FPS. Yeah. Oh my god, it was so unsettling to watch that. That was very unsettling. Yeah. Well, considering that we're currently recording at about 21 FPS, I don't think we're going to have that problem.
Wait, the video or the audio?
The video.
Okay.
Why would the audio record at 20 at frames per second? God damn you, Boyd. God damn you. This is why no one likes you.
Oh, there's so many other reasons.
There's so many other reasons.
I'm just picturing 120 frames. It's not actually a sound sample. It's just 120 little bursts of sound that go coherent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's totally what it is. But yeah,
if you slow it down, you don't necessarily hear the voices slow. You just hear nit, 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 nit.
But yeah, that was the other thing too, is Andy watched it on another stream.
And it was fine.
He's like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, there's no problem with this. Like, yeah. There's your problem is really with your technology and also with the way that it feeds through things.
So what we're saying is your TV is not calibrated right. It will really be dragging down your aerial fights. See, now that I have a camera, I can just look at it and smile after jokes like that.
God, that was bad. Oh God, I might have to get a new might have to get new headphones.
Are you going out?
Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, we still might have to get new headphones. These are fucking old.
They're almost as old as your TV.
No, they're not that old. They're about half as old.
Okay.
They're about 5 years old.
Have you turned off the audio smoothing on them?
Yeah, long time ago.
Okay.
Are you kidding? Of course they're properly
Do you need
calibrated.
to adjust the brightness on them?
I adjusted the brightness, make sure the blacks and the blacks and the colors are...
How many frames per second are you listening at?
I usually listen at about 200 FPS.
Okay.
Yeah. Just utter horseshit.
That's one of those things that, like, if you don't know what the hell we're talking about, it might actually sound legit. Oh, that's a wonderful way to screw with some of your video, like your professional video friends.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what FPS do you normally listen at?
What FPS do you normally listen at? And they just look at you like, what is wrong with you?
No, I think a lot of...
What's the ISO setting on your soundboard?
I think a lot of them it would take them a minute to, like...
What? No, that's a good one. What's the ISO setting on your soundboard?
Yeah.
Well, also, like, just a quick thing, I want to say, like, there's a reason that when you get a video game that has cinematic stuff, like anybody who gets a new video game, especially if it's a horror video game or anything with a spooky element to it, tells you like this is the way.
Wait, did you say iOS or ISO a minute ago?
ISO.
I thought you said iOS. I think you said iOS.
I 100% said ISO.
Either way, it's really bad.
Either way, it's bad. But I 100% said ISO.
Okay. What f-stop do you normally input your audio at?
About 3.4. But no, when you get a new video game, especially a horror game, it brings up that screen at the beginning. It says adjust the sliders until...
Yeah, it looks like we say it should.
Well, yeah, until you can barely see the logo kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or until the logo just disappears.
And with my crappy TV...
that's all the way up.
Red Dead has that.
Yeah.
And like if it's cranked up, so I basically either have, in order to make that logo visible, it's higher than it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. But as soon as I get down to like saying the other one where it's supposed to be, I can't see that.
Yeah, it's kind of the balance. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just kind of deal with it. But there's a reason it has those screens, is you want to get it as close as it should be.
Especially with horror games. Actually, stuff like Red Dead, a lot of those action games I usually intentionally play a little bit brighter.
Yeah.
Because when you get running around at night in Red Dead, you get parts where it's really dark,
It's very dark, yeah.
I don't get that quite as much.
Yeah, that's true.
It makes it easier to see what is, what's
happening. Yeah, that's true. Those wolves come a lot less quick when you're doing that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The night is not quite so dark and full of terrors.
Yeah, it's just full of terror now.
Yeah. But also, when you're hunting at night, it makes it easier to see prey. And
that's true.
Yeah.
A lot easier. I need to get back on the Red Dead train. I want to.
That is actually an option on it.
Yeah, it is true. That's true. I've been playing Devil May Cry 5, and I've been really enjoying it.
I've been off video games a little recently.
That's fair.
Just happens. I go in spurts.
I also I bought Cuphead on Switch.
Okay.
And it's really fun. I wasn't feeling it for some reason, it just wasn't feeling it on PlayStation, but it got announced on Switch last week, and I was like, yeah, this sounds good.
I'm still waiting for Outer Worlds.
I know. Looks like I'm modding my old Xbox this weekend to
play
drop
old Xbox.
Yep, like to play some old Xbox games.
I saw Baldur's Gate on there. I saw Fable.
Both Baldur's Gates on there.
Yeah.
And Fable and the expansion, and then all the Halo on the original Xbox.
Beyond Good and Evil was on there.
Yeah, again, Andy didn't have that one, and I was like, "Why do you not have Beyond Good and Evil?" He's like, "I don't know." He's like, "Okay, at least you're aware."
Yeah.
I also added, some WWE wrestling.
Why not?
Because fuck it, sure. WWE 2. The other ones are not good, but that one is. I decided against adding Madden, just because.
I mean, you could go by the new version, get the same game.
Yeah, exactly. But I added all the Tony Hawk's. Boyd.
I mean, Madden is the second best football game out there. Or football series.
The best is NFL Blitz on N64.
Oh yeah,
not the remakes, mind you.
Wait, there's a remix?
There's a version of NFL Blitz that's on Xbox. And I guess there was one that came out recently-ish for new consoles.
Is it trying to recreate the old game, or is it trying to take the spirit of the old game with a new everything?
It's trying to expand upon it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Whereas the old game was just utter insanity.
Which is what you're supposed to expand on there.
Yeah. Yeah. No. It was kind of what the original XFL was, is how the new games felt.
I mean, that's one thing I liked with the Just Cause series and Saints Row. They just expand on the insanity.
Yeah. The original Just Cause was an option to put on the Xbox. I don't think I am, though. I never really got into it. So, but all that being said, we're over our time.
Are we?
Yep. And you got to drive over some mountains tonight.
I'm gone.
Yes.
I'm away.
Yep. So
I'm off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
The wonderful Wizard of Wenatchee.
The woods, over the river and through the woods to the wizard where we go.
All right. That's it for this week.
Goodbye, kids.
Oh, God, you're so fucking creepy. Bye, kids.